Hi, Kathy here from Kathy's Cute Creations. Today we're going to do the July block of the month, number 7, and it is the Friendship Star. Now you might want to Google it or YouTube it and take a look at it because it's going to be very hard to see my star based on my fabric. But if you use 2 different color of fabrics, it will work. Okay, let's get started. Now for this block, you're going to need 2 different colors. You're going to need 5-inch squares, and you're going to need 4 in this color here and 5 in this color here. So whichever color you want to be your star, that's the one you want to cut 5-inch squares. This is also a 5-inch square down here. I've split it up into 4s because these 4 are going to go with these 4. This one stays by itself, and then these are the corners that are 4 1/2 inch. Now I'm going to show you when we get these put together how to cut them down to size because they're going to end up being 4 1/2 inches. This is the way we're going to do our half square triangles today. So we're going to learn something new. So now let's go over to the sewing machine and let's put it together. Alright, so when you make a half square triangle, remember now you're going to mark your fabric with a pencil, a pen, whatever. I've marked all of my pieces on the light side. You put your right sides together, and then I always pin it in 2 places. So that's the first thing we're going to do is we're going to sew all of these diagonally, and they're going to be half square triangles. Now remember, this is where your needle tries to grab your fabric, so I come off of it a little bit and then I go back over it when I get done, so I'll show you here. I'm just not starting at the end is all. That pin's bumping on there. Come off the edge. And I just turn it around, go back over here, put my thread down, my needle, not my thread, down into my fabric and my thread that's already been sewn right there. And then I just sew over the thread that's there and just come off the edge. There's what it looks like. Now remember what I normally do when I get done with this, instead of just cutting it off, I go ahead and I'll sew on this side. So what I'll do is I'll take my ruler and I will come over. So I have taken 1 inch. So I have my line, not an inch, I'm sorry, a 1/2 inch. Here's the 1/4 inch, and then there's the inch. And I'll mark this. And then I'll come over to the 1/4 inch. Now while this is still connected, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to sew on my first line. Now you don't have to do this if you don't want to. You can just go ahead and cut off your fabric off of one side. Just look at it and see which one you want, and then you can use it for scraps or anything that you want. But what I'm doing is I am just going ahead and making another half square triangle that's smaller from my remaining half square triangle, so I can use it in another project. Then I take my scissors, or you can take a rotary cutter, it doesn't make any difference, and just cut down this line that you made, which is a 1/4 inch. So this is the piece that I'm going to use right here. And this is my second piece that I will use in a different project, but the point is it's already made. You can do a lot of things with half square triangles. I'll set this aside. I'll go ahead and I'll sew the other 3, which you can do also. Now you want to go ahead and set your seams on these 4 and open them up, and then I'm going to show you what to do next. Okay, I do not know for sure if you can see the star. I can see it, but then I know what it looks like. Hold on one second. Okay, so this is the star, one of the legs, I guess you call it, the tips. This is another tip. This is a tip. And this is a tip. And the middle of it right here. If you use more distinct colors, like just 2 colors, like maybe blue and red or green and yellow or something like that, you'll be able to see it. But I hope that you can see it on this one. I tried to lay it out so you could. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to sew the, we're going to square up our half square triangles. I'm going to show you how to do that over here at the table. Okay, I have this Creative Grids ruler. And you'll note that there's a line down it right here, a black line, 45 degrees. And this ruler, up to this line where it shows 4.5 inches, is 4.5 inch squared, because it's 4.5 inches from here to here, and then from there to there. So when you put it down on your fabric, remember now these were 5-inch squares, you would line it up. You're going to want to put your 45-degree line right down the middle of your half square triangle, and then you can see it's 4.5 right here to right there. So then you take your ruler, and all you're doing is you're taking off the right hand side, the left hand side, and then you'll turn it around and reposition it and take off the other 2 sides. Okay, so I got to thinking, what if you don't have a ruler like this? Then my next question is, do you have a square ruler? Maybe you bought one of these. This is actually a 6-inch ruler. It's also got the line. Let me show you right here, right up the middle of that. Okay, so you take your line and you're trying to go down your half square triangle. You would line it up, the 4.5 inches right here, and you would line this up, which in this case, as long as it's staying on the straight of, as long as the line is staying on your split in your half square triangle, you trim this side and this side, which I'll show you here. Let's say this is the kind of ruler you have. You're going to have whatever ruler you have is going to have that line on it. And all you're trying to do is, you remember how you square up your fabric. You saw that in a video I did. You're trying to get the bottom straight and the side straight. So let me do that first here. And if you feel safer, coming down to the bottom of your fabric because you're scared, or I don't know, maybe you're not quite sure what you're doing, just keep in mind, the main thing is keep this line straight on that fabric, right down that seam that you did. Okay, and then hold on to your ruler. So I took that off. I'll turn my mat. Still down just pushing, I'm still down the middle of that fabric there. Even though I've moved it already, but let's get it back lined up. Can't see it on the other side is my problem, so let's just turn it here. Okay. Come down to my 4.5, since I know that's straight. As I keep moving it with my finger. shouldn't be doing this late at night. Okay. Turn it again if you have to. So now I know that I've got the right and the left. Again, get it down to the 4.5. As a matter of fact, there's little, when you get your 4.5, there's like a little corner down there that it meets at for your half. But all I'm trying to do is just get this one side 4.5 and stay on my line. And then turn it one more time. Cut this right off here. Okay, so there's your 4.5. And I accidentally did make a mistake here. This pink one that I said to go ahead and make it 5 inches, it actually was supposed to be 4.5 because it needs to go in the middle. So that was actually 5 pieces were 4.5 instead of 4. And so you can just do this with your regular ruler. We're 4.5, 1, 2, 3, 4.5. Again. Okay. So they'll fit next to each other just like that. Alright, so I will go ahead and I'll finish cutting these. I'll show you one more if you'd like. Let's see if I can try to. I'm going to start up here. Let's see. Let's see if I can turn my table now. Two sides. Now you come down here to the 4.5, which is right here and right there. And you look at your seam. Okay. One side. Let's make sure we line it back up a little bit. And the last side. Okay. There's another one done. Just remember, the main thing is you're lining your line up along this seam. And what I'm looking at when I'm going over there is, let me get my pencil here. I put it on this seam here, or this line here, and look for the halfway mark for the 4.5, which is right here. And that's what I'm looking at, this corner right here. You can see it's got a little line and the arrow. That's what I'm putting down on the edge of here. First, what I look at is I want to line it up the best I can. So I already know that it's 5 inches. The whole entire thing is 5 inches. So you've got quite a bit to play with. If you only want to come down here and go to 5, and I'll pick up the camera here and I'll show it to you. Hold on one second. Just to give you an idea. Alright, let me turn it just a minute. Try to keep that glare from those lights from getting in our face. So if you look down here at the corner, so it is 4 3/4. But keep in mind, this is what you're looking at. You're looking at your line. This ruler right here needs to be on that line. Okay? And if you're comfortable taking this much off to start out with, that's fine. Just keep in mind that this top part, now if your fabric's solid color, doesn't make any difference. If you're looking at your colors or whatever, this is what's going to be straight. If you take and you go to 4 3/4 instead of 4 1/2, then you take the top off and you take the side off. Then when you flip it around, all you're doing is taking this and putting it right on the corner of your fabric and taking off the excess. So the excess will be right here, down this line right there. Okay, I hope this isn't too confusing. It's just going to take a little bit of practice. And like I said, if you want to use two solid colors to help you, that's all right. Or you can take your scraps, because you can make this half square triangle smaller. As I was saying, you can make your half square triangle smaller and then play with it. Hold on one second, I'll show you. What I've done is I brought that little piece over. Remember the 4 little pieces I cut off? This is perfect to be practicing with. So you look at it, and it is, let's see, what size did it turn out to be? Okay, so it is 1, 2, 3, 4 1/4. Okay, so let's say you want to make that 4. Take this, and this is your practice now. You take it up here and you go, 4. Okay, well, here's the 4. Here's my line. And here's the 4 right here, because it's the easiest line to look at. I'd come down a little bit, make sure I got a little bit of fabric all the way around it. Still on the line. So if you want to square that off to make it 4, and that's perfect to be your practice sheet. Let me get my ruler here. So 1, oops. I keep bumping the camera. I got it to, there we go. I haven't touched it now. Put my hand down on it. There's the second side. And we're just taking a sliver off of there. Just a sliver, that's all it needs. Back you up a little bit here. Turn it again. Okay. Now we take this and we fix it. We turned our ruler around. And now you just go down to the 4. So the 4 is down here. The 4 is all along this line. All along that line. And it's right up the middle of that line. Oops, I bumped it. Okay. And then all you got to do is take that. Turn it again. And up here. Still on there, on the mark. You put it on that. Make sure that both of these lines are on there, and this is a straight line. Hold it down. And off that little edge comes. Now you have a 4-inch. And you can take all 4 of these, cut them all down, which will give you practice, so then when it comes to doing that, you won't be so nervous about ruining it, if that's what you're nervous about. Otherwise, just jump in and go ahead and square them up, okay? Because you already understand the concept of squaring up. We've been squaring some from the very beginning. So let me go ahead and finish these last 2. And then I'll be back to the sewing machine. I went ahead and I pinned the first 2 of each row. iron these and open them up and attach them to the next piece. I did not iron them. I went ahead and just pinned the last one on. I want to wait and iron them after this, so I know which direction to nest them in. Now I will iron them. This, and we'll do it on this side so you can see what we're doing here. Let's take that out. There we go. Now no problems with it. Alright, those two are together. This is the top up here. I'm going to pin these two here and then sew them together. Okay, so to avoid the half square triangle end, I flipped it over and pinned it from the other side, and we're going to start with the side that doesn't have the half square triangle on it. When you thread it, when you combine your two seams, you want to make sure that you nestle them first. Then you put your extra pins in. You want all those intersections to meet up. And there we have it. It is all completed. And all my little corners right here, they all met. So now I'm going to iron it out, and then I'll be back with it. Our block, the friendship star. I hope everybody liked this video. Give it a thumbs up, make a comment. I hope that you can all actually see the star. And I hope you try this block so you can learn how to do the squaring up of the half square triangles. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. I'm back for a second because I forgot to pull my ruler out so that you could see it was 12.5 inches. I keep forgetting to do that. Until next time, bye-bye.